Indian Partnership Act 1932. Now, there are various forms of business organizations that are present. There can be a sole proprietorship business, there can be a partnership business, there can be a company. When the sole proprietorship is there, there is a single owner. Sole proprietorship happens when a single person starts the business. He is the only one person who manages the business. He is the only one to take all the profits and he is the only person to bear all the losses. So sole proprietorship is when there is a sole person who is managing the whole business. Because of various limitations in a sole proprietorship, limitations like unlimited liability. Now in case of sole proprietorship, since there is only one person to manage the business, in case of his absence due to illness or any other reason, there is no other person to manage the business. So in that circumstances, the business has to be shut down on a temporary basis. So there were many limitations that a sole proprietorship business had. And thereafter came partnership, which to certain extent overcame the limitations of a sole proprietorship business. Now partnership happens when there are two or more persons who enter into a partnership for a business. Now because there were many limitations, partnership came. In case of partnership, there are more than a person to manage the business. So in absence of one, the other person can manage. So this way the partnership came into existence. Because partnership was there, so the Partnership Act 1932 was formed to look into the law of partnership firms. Now Partnership Act provides us with the rights and liabilities of partners in a firm and rights and liabilities of a firm towards third parties. So we get to know about the rights and liabilities of the partners vis-a-vis the firm and vis-a-vis other parties. So that is why the Partnership Act was formed. So we are going to study the Partnership Act 1932. The general nature of partnership. Now what is partnership? Partnership is the relation between two or more persons who have agreed to share the profits of a business running by all or any of them acting for all. This is a definition given under the Partnership Act 1932 section 4. The definition says, partnership is the relation between two or more persons who have agreed to share the profits of a business carried by all or any of them acting for all. So partnership is a relationship between two or more persons who have agreed to share the profits of a business carried by all or any of them acting for all. So basically there are three things. There have to be two or more persons for a partnership. A single person cannot form a partnership. A single person can do a sole proprietorship business. So for a partnership there must be two or more persons who have agreed to share the profits. Now there must be an agreement to share the profits of a business. So there must be a business and it can be carried by all or any of them acting for all. This means that the business can be carried by all the partners or it can be carried on by one of the partners on behalf of all the partners. So this is the basic definition given under the Partnership Act section 4. Now, so there are three essentials. need to be there. There have to be two or more persons. There must be two or more persons. For partners to happen, there have to be two persons. A single person cannot be a partner of himself. Then there must be an agreement. There must be an agreement to share profits. And last is that the business can be carried by all or any of them acting for all. This statement means it shows a relationship of mutual agency amongst the partners. So there has to be mutual agency. So these are the three basic essentials for a partnership to exist. So the definition, we come to the essentials from the definition itself. There have to be two or more persons. There must be an agreement to share profits and mutual agency. Now we will discuss them in detail one by one. The first one is there must be two or more persons to enter into partnership. The first essential is agreement. Now, for a partnership to happen, there has to be an agreement between persons. So, partnership arises from a agreement from a contract. So, partnership arises from an agreement. That is, there has to be a contract. That means partnership is voluntary. Whenever we enter into a partnership, it is voluntary. Partnership is voluntary. Now, this simply means that partnership is voluntary and it does not arise from status. Now, suppose there is a HUF, a Hindu undivided family. In case of Hindu undivided family, a male member becomes a part of the business, gets an interest in the business by its birth itself. So, then it is not voluntary, it arises from a status of being a member of the family. So, it is not voluntary. But in case of partnership, it is voluntary and there has to be an agreement. So, partnership happens is voluntary and it does not arise from status. And it does not arise from status. Like in case of HUF. In case of HUF, a male member gets an interest in the business by the birth itself. It's not voluntary, but it is from his status of being a part of the family. Then, so this is the first essential element that a partnership has, that there has to be agreement to share profits of a business. Now, the agreement may be expressed or implied. Agreement may be implied by conduct of the parties. So it can be expressed, there can be an express agreement of partnership and it can be implied by the conduct of the parties. Now let's take an example. Suppose there's a CA firm which is owned by S.L. Gangwal, and that firm, he initially is a sole proprietorship. It's a sole proprietorship business. Later on he realizes that he is not enough to manage the whole business and he needs more persons to be a part of the business. In such a case, he can enter into a partnership and he made his son part of the business and one or two more persons, his friends, as part of the business. So what is happening here? They are entering into an agreement to share the profits of a business. There is an agreement and it is voluntary. Whereas son is being a part of the firm, it does not arise from his status, but he can decide whether he wants to be a part of the business or not. And there is a relationship of mutual agency. So partnership, it has to be from an agreement and it is voluntary. Next is, let's take another example. Suppose Rakesh was a sole proprietor, he died, and he has a number of heirs. Heirs means who succeed father, the sons and the grandsons are the heirs of a person. So Rakesh died and his heirs succeeded his business. Heirs are his son. So the business was succeeded by his son and he had a number of heirs. There were 3 sons of Rakesh. Rakesh died and after that all 3 of them got the business inherited from their father. In such a case, they are deciding to carry on the business together, but it is not a partnership because they have neither entered into an agreement, nor it is voluntary, nor there is a mutual agency. It is because their father had the business, they have got the business inherited to them. So that is not a partnership. So for a partnership, there has to be an agreement voluntarily formed. So partnership is an agreement. Now next is sharing of profits of business, the second essential element. Sharing of profits. Sharing of profits of business. Now, sharing of profits is the second essential element for a partnership firm. There has to be agreement. And what the agreement must be for? The agreement must be to share the profits. So, agreement to share there must be an agreement to share profits. Now, profits of what? Profits of a business. There must be an agreement to share the profits of a business. Now, what does business means? Business means any trade or occupation, the motive of which is to earn gain. So, anything, any trade, any occupation can be a business which you do with the motive of earning gain. So, there must be business. And business can be any trade or occupation. Motive of which is to gain. So there must be a business. Where there is no business, there can be no partnership. So business has to be there. There has to be agreement to share profits of what? Of a business. Now let's take an example. Suppose Tina and Anjali are co-owners of a jointly own something. So they jointly own a house. They are co-owners of a house. They decide that they will give their house on rent, and they decide that whatever will be the rent from the house, they will divide amongst themselves. So the house is rented and they decide to share the rent of the house. What is the agreement? Share the rent. So what is happening? There is an agreement between them that they will give their house on rent and they are the co-owners of the house. They decide to divide the rent amongst themselves. Now, is this a partnership? No, because they are simply co-owners. They are not doing any business. So where there is no business, there is no partnership. They are simply giving their house on rent and deciding to divide the rent amongst themselves. So that is not a partnership because there is no business. Let's take another example. Suppose Tina and Anjali again. Tina and Anjali bought 100 bales of cotton. And they decide that they will divide it amongst themselves and use it. Now, is this a partnership? No, because they have bought 100 bales of cotton and they decide that they will use it together. They will share the 100 bales of cotton. So there is no business. So no partnership. They are not even sharing the profit. So this is not a partnership. In this example, if suppose they decide that they will sell this 100 bales of cotton on a profit and then they will divide the profit amongst themselves. So what is happening? They decide they bought 100 bales of cotton and they decide to sell it and divide the profits. So what is happening? They are deciding to do a business. That is a kind of trade where you bring something and then sell it on a profit. So that is a trade. So there they are doing a trade, any business, any trade or occupation. So there is a business. They are entering into an agreement and they are deciding to share the profits of the business, and hence it is a partnership. This is a valid partnership. So there has to be an agreement to share profits of a business. Now, sharing of profits is essential. It's a must for a partnership. If a partner decides that he will not take any share of profits, then he is not a partner. For a partnership, there has to be a share in the profits. So sharing of profits is a must for partnership. Sharing of profits is essential. A partner with no share in the profits is not a partner because there has to be a share in the profits. But sharing of losses is not essential. Is not. What does this mean? That there can be a partnership in which the partners can enter into agreement and they can decide that one partner will not be liable. They can remove any partner from his liability of losses. They can decide that one of the partners will not be liable for losses. That will be a valid partnership. There is a must that there should be a share in the profits, but whether a partner will have a share of losses or not is not essential. So there can be an agreement where they can decide not to have one of them in the losses. So sharing of profits is essential, but sharing of losses is not essential. Normally, the losses are borne in the ratio in which the profits are shared. Whenever there is agreement, the losses are borne in the same ratio as the profits. And when there is no agreement about division of profits and losses, in that case profits and losses are borne equally. So it is implied when there is no agreement, when there is no agreement, it is implied that profits and losses will be shared equally. So, when there is no agreement regarding division of profits, the profits are shared equally. That is implied by the Partnership Acts. So, there must be agreement to share profits. There must be a business. Sharing of profits is essential, but sharing of losses is not essential. And when there is no agreement, it is implied that the profit and losses will be borne in equal share. Now, so these are the basic elements of a partnership. Let's take another example for this. Suppose A and B decide to work together as carpenters. A and B decide to work together and they decide that A will get the profits and B will get wages. That means whenever they will work, whatever will be the profit will be taken by A and B will be given with wages. Now, is this a partnership? So the answer should be no, because there has to be a share in the profits. In this case, B is just getting the wages while A is getting the profit. So there is no share in the profits of B. So this is not a partnership because they are in a relationship of a master and servant. Actually, this is a master and servant relation. So sharing of profits is another must. Now let's take another example. Suppose A and B decide amongst themselves, they are in a partnership and they decide that they will share profits and losses, profits in the ratio 2:1. This is the ratio for profits. And they decide that A alone shall be liable for all the losses. They decide A alone Now, the question arises, is this a valid partnership? What is the agreement between them? That they will both share the profits in the ratio 2:1. So, there is an agreement. They decide to share the profits of a business. So, this is fulfilled, sharing of profits of business. But they have decided that B shall not be liable for losses and A alone will bear the losses. So, is it valid? Yes, it is valid because A is bearing all the losses. Sharing of profits is essential, but sharing of losses is not essential. Partners amongst themselves by an agreement decide that any one of them will not be liable for losses. So in this case, A and B decided that B shall not be liable for losses and only A shall be liable for losses. So this is a valid agreement because sharing of losses is not essential. So this is the third essential of a partnership that has to be there. The third essential is mutual agency. Business carried by all or any of them
essential element. Now what does this mean, business carried by all or any of them acting for all? This simply means that in case of a partnership firm, the business can either be carried on by all the partners, or it can be decided that only one of them will carry on the business on behalf of rest of the partners. So it is not essential that all the partners have to carry on the business. It can be carried on by all, or it cannot be carried by all, and only some of them can carry on the business. So this is the next essential. This is a cardinal principle of partnership. Cardinal principle of now, whenever we are in a partnership firm, all the partners are a principal and a agent. All partners are principal as well as agents for other partners and the firm. What does this mean? This means that there is a relationship of mutual agency between the partners. Whenever a partner does any act, all the other partners are bound by his acts. And whenever the other partners are acting for the firm, the partner who is not acting is the principal of other partners and they act as the agent. So a single partner is a principal as well as agent in the firm. There is a relationship of mutual agency. So there is a relationship of mutual agency . This is the most important element that has to be present in case of partnership. Sharing of profits is only a prima facie evidence, but mutual agency is the most important evidence to see whether a partnership exists or not. Let's take an example. Suppose A, B and C are partners. Their firm is named as A, B and C Company, ABC and Company. Now, A does a contract with D, who's an outsider. Now, what will happen in such case? When A has entered into a contract with D, he is the principal. So he is acting as the principal of the other partners. So A is the principal and when A is acting on behalf of the firm, he is the agent of other partners. So A here is the agent of B and C. A is the agent outside parties, he is the agent of other partners and the firm. This means B and C will be bound by the acts done by A. So when A has entered into a contract with D, B and C are also bound by that contract. Now whenever there is some breach of contract and D wants to sue, then D can sue all the three partners because A was acting on the behalf of the firm and B and C are also bound by the acts done by A. So D can sue the firm that is he can sue A, B and C. Though A was the person who entered into a contract, but he was the agent of B and C, therefore B and C are bound by his acts. And similarly, the firm and therefore firm can sue D. So whenever there is a partner in the firm, he is the principal as well as agent of the firm. There is a relationship of mutual agency between the partners. This is the true test of partnership. This is a cardinal principle of partnership. So this is the third element, business carried on by all or any of them acting for all. This is the third essential element. Now we will carry on with two tests of partnership.